Hey people, Shinobi no Kami here. In this fanfic, most people believed the Yondaime to be Naruto's father, but they were wrong. His actual father had to watch as Kyuubi was sealed into his newborn son and sent into a world of hatred. And now, he wants vengeance. Check the description and give a sub to my thumbnail maker God Kage Theories. Hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and if you want to make suggestions or something else, tell me in the comment section. Now let's roll the intro. Chapter 11. What is your goal? Now then, Tazuna, tell us the truth, and don't hide anything from us this time, ordered Kakashi to the man. The man sighed and began telling them. I did not mean to deceive you, but I was unable to get a high-ranked team due to a lack of money, so I was forced to tell you that I only needed protection from bandits. My home, the Land of Waves, is currently being run by a powerful shipping magnate named Gato. He is an evil black-hearted man who only cares for money. Long has Wave suffered under him. He has isolated it from the rest of the world, cutting off all trade unless they followed his policies. He is doing much worse though. Beneath it he is illegally smuggling goods and drugs. There have been rumors that people have been snatched up by his guards and sold into slavery. My home has become an impoverished, hunger-stricken place due to that bastard's tyranny. He even went as to kill the husband of my daughter and traumatized my grandson to show those who defy him what will happen. That's terrible, but why are you heading towards the place? Asked Naruto to him. Tazuna smiled at him. I am a master bridge builder. If I was able to get to Wave, I'd be able to build a bridge that will reconnect it with the mainland. Doing so would restore its economy and Gato would lose all his money. Due to that being against his interests, he has put a bounty on my head demanding that I be killed for defying him. I do not care what happens to me, but please, escort me until at least we get to my home. I'm sorry I lied to you all, but I had no choice. Naruto's eyes narrowed in determination after the man told his tale. The man's tale touched him and he knew that he needed their help. But his sensei then spoke up. I'm sorry Tazuna, but we can't help you. This is too dangerous for Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura. Naruto looked at him a bit shocked that he had denied the man's plead. But sensei. Quiet Naruto, this mission has now been turned into an A-class mission, far too dangerous for us to handle. I know you need help and protection, but those last two that attacked us were Chunins, and if not for the arrival of Kage we might have been in trouble. We shall return to Konoha immediately. I'll discuss things with the Hokage and see if he can give you some help. Tazuna looked downhearted at that and seemed reluctant to follow him with that. You coward, said a voice filled with disgust. Kakashi turned his head and looked at the bounty nin Kage, who despite wearing a mask to cover his face was angry. I beg your pardon, asked Kakashi to him. You heard me, you're a coward, you're afraid. Kakashi frowned at that. I am not afraid. Is taking 3 inexperienced genins into an A-class mission where they could possibly die your idea of courage? The rest of the group tensed up as they felt tension developing between the copy and bounty nin. Your students are skilled, more than you think they are, especially the blonde one. You think of them as helpless children, unable to defend themselves. You appear to be a jonin. Does Konoha now have its ninja obtained that rank by those who put their tails in between their legs and run at the first sight of danger? Kakashi and Kage stared face to face at one another. Why are asking me this? I am not afraid and I would willingly take the man and protect him to Wave. Then prove it. Show your courage to me. All ninja must get rid of their fear. It seems to me that you still have some in you. Prove to me and your students that you are not a coward and guide the man to Wave. Kakashi walked away from him and went towards his students. So what's it gonna be? This mission has become much more dangerous now and we could very well die. If any of you want to head back to Konoha, you know the way. Which of you will stay? I'm staying, put in Sasuke. I'm staying too, said Sakura with a bit of hesitation. You know I'm staying as well. I'm no coward, said Naruto as well, his eyes filled with determination. Very well then, now let's move. Kakashi ordered them. He then turned to Tazuna. We shall protect you until you are done building your bridge. The man nodded his head in gratitude to him. The group continued on their way to Wave. Naruto, who was in the back with Kage, looked up at the masked nin. Feeling himself being watched, he turned his head and looked at Naruto directly in the eyes. Is there something wrong, boy? Kage asked him. No, it's just that there's something familiar about you, like we have met before. Have you been to Konoha the past 12 years? Once or twice. I have no love for the leaf and rarely go there. Why do you ask? I don't know, it's just that there's something about you that I can't place. Like I've met you when I was young. Interesting. Tell me, Naruto, you seem skilled, but why does your teammates and sensei put you down at times? Naruto shrugged at that. I don't know, it's been like that my whole life. I'm always getting picked on and insulted by everyone in Konoha. I don't have anyone there that really cares about me except for a few people. Everybody else hates me there. Why is that? I don't know, they are always calling me monster and demon boy. I've never done anything to them, yet they always treat me badly. Said Naruto. Don't your parents care for you? I don't have any parents. I'm sorry that I asked. Kage replied. Don't be, my mom died when I was born, and I don't know where my father is at. Your father is alive. Yeah, during my 8th birthday a man saved me when I was being attacked. He had a mask on like you do. He said that my father was alive and that he cared for me and that he would come for me one day. Oh, yeah, I'm hoping that I'd be able to see him one day soon. I'm sure you'll see him soon, Naruto. Naruto heard Kakashi call at him, telling him to keep up. Naruto ran up to the group, leaving him in the back. Golden eyes peered behind the mask at the running boy. The group soon neared Wave Country. So far there hadn't been any other trouble and no assassins. Looks like you'll be making it home without a scratch, Tazuna. Said Kakashi to him. Thanked Kami, replied the man. As the group neared it, they suddenly noticed that mist seemed to be closing in on them. At first they thought nothing of it, but as they got closer the mist did as well. All of you, spread out and be on guard, something is not right about this. Said Kakashi to them. The group nodded and Naruto's hand went towards a kunai to throw just in case. The mist was getting so thick you could barely see what was in front of you. Suddenly the sound of a blade being unsheathed was heard. Out of the mist, aiming right at them, was Zanbato. The group immediately moved out of the way and just narrowly avoided the blade. They heard it stick into something and they noticed that it was a tree. Not very often that I have to take a second shot to kill my target. Said a voice. Flipping over all of them, they saw a figure barely seeable land on the blade stuck in the tree. The mist dispelled and they could see the man. He wore a Kurigakure Hitai 8 around his forehead and a flak jacket, and he had bandages that covered the lower part of his face. He seemed confident of himself and he stared at them all with arrogance. You have gone far enough, maggots, you shall take not one more step further. Are you the one who is after our client? Asked Kakashi to him. That is correct, I am Zabuza Momochi, demon of the mist, and your doom. Kakashi cursed as the man leapt down and pulled out his blade from the tree. Sensei, who is he? Asked Sakura. He is a ninja who in his youth at the academy in Mist killed every other graduate as well. He is said to be extremely dangerous. Gato must be serious about wanting you dead, Tazuna. Ah yes, Gato, that disgusting slob of a man. Normally I wouldn't work for people like him, but I need fun so I have little choice, nothing personally, it's just business. Well, we're not gonna let you, after all it's 5-on-1. Shouted Naruto. Oh, then why do I only see 4 of you? The group immediately turned around and saw that Kage was gone. He had vanished without a trace. Now then, said Zabuza as he prepared a jutsu. Kurigakure no jutsu. A mist engulfed them all and all of them could barely see anything in front of them. Tazuna was unaware of the figure charging, planning on stabbing him in the back. He heard footsteps and shouted when he saw the man charge him. But before he could be killed, it was intercepted by Kakashi, who stabbed it in the neck. Suddenly the figure disappeared and the mist that surrounded them all disappeared. A Mizabushin, a true ninja, would never attack his opponents himself. He waits until the enemy is least suspecting of it. He turned around and stabbed another Bushin, attempting to sneak up on him, causing it to disappear. Naruto then saw that Kakashi's mask that covered his face was lowered and his other eye was shown. Kakashi-sensei. What? Never saw a Sharingan eye before. He said to him. The real Zabuza suddenly appeared behind him and sliced Kakashi in half. But he saw to his surprise that it was just a Bushin as well. I don't think so, Zabuza. Now that my Sharingan is revealed, I can read you like I do a book, and thanks for letting me copy your little trick," said the real Kakashi emerging. "We shall see about that." Zabuza swung his blade in an horizontal angle which Kakashi ducked, but he did not count on him improvising and kicking him in the chin, which sent him sprawling into a lake that was nearby. "Now then, it's time for me to finish this." Kakashi attempted to get out of the lake but was too late. He was trapped inside a sphere of water. Zabuza had one arm inside it keeping him trapped. "Before long you'll run out of air, so you might as well quit struggling," sneered Zabuza. "Damn it, we got to do something or Sensei will drown," cursed Naruto. "But he's too strong, we wouldn't stand a chance against him," said Sakura. "Damn it, Sakura." Naruto suddenly turned around and slapped her, surprising the others. The girl looked at him shocked that he had striked her. "Quit being such a weakling and a coward and be useful for a change. All you've done is stand there with your knees shaking. Why did you come with us if that is all you could do? Just stay out of our way if you won't do anything," he shouted at her. The girl, rubbing her face, tears in her eyes, shocked that he had striked her and more so that he had chastised her for not doing anything. "Enough, you two, Kakashi needs our help. I'm going," said Sasuke as he went. Naruto gave her one last glance and left as well. Sakura thought about going as well but stopped, her fear holding her back. Zabuza saw the two charging him and cursed himself for not making another Mizabushin, but no matter, he'd deal with them himself. "Kage Bushin no Jutsu," shouted Naruto as he made clones of himself. The clones all charged him. "Stupid boy. Mere clones cannot defeat me." He pulled out his sword and with one great swipe wiped them all out. Naruto responded by making more clones and they charged him as well. "Fool. What are you hoping to do?" he shouted as he sliced apart the clones, keeping one hand inside the sphere. "Sasuke, catch!" shouted Naruto as he tossed him a giant shuriken which he caught. "Fuma shuriken Kage Fusha." Sasuke threw the shuriken at Zabuza. The man smirked and caught it with one hand. What was that supposed to do? Surprise. He turned his head and saw another shuriken that was hidden behind the one thrown at him transform into one of Naruto's clones, which produced kunai and prepared to throw them at him. But suddenly, to everyone's surprise, the earth starting shaking and suddenly the ground beneath Zabuza's feet raised up and then formed around him, trapping him from the waist down. Like the way Gaara's desert coffin does, but with earth instead of sand. This also had the unexpected side effect of freeing Kakashi from the prison. Naruto then looked over and saw that it was Kage who did that. The man's katana was stabbed into the earth. "Very foolish of you, to be on the ground. This makes you easy prey for my earth jutsus," responded him to Zabuza. Zabuza struggled but to no avail as he felt his body being crushed. The mist nin suddenly lurched forward and collapsed. Kage stopped the jutsu and let the man down onto the ground. "Did you kill him?" asked Naruto to him. The man shook his head and pointed at his neck. There was two senbon sticking out of his neck. "I'm the one who did that." The group turned around and saw a figure wearing a mask and a green shirt and brown pants walk forward. "I thank you for trapping him for me. I've been after him for some time." "Who are you?" asked Sasuke to him. "I am a hunter nin from Mist. I've been sent to kill and capture Zabuza. I used my senbon to strike his vital points and kill him." "So he's dead?" asked Sakura. "Yes, I'm certain of it." "Hold on." Kage walked forward, his blade drawn and stopped in front of Zabuza's corpse. He then raised his blade up and prepared to bring it down. The hunter nin quickly covered the body with his own, preventing him from striking him. "I assure you he's dead, there's no need to mangle his body." "So what are you going to do with him?" asked Naruto. "I will take it back to Mist and have it properly disposed of. There is no need for you to stay around any longer, go be done with your business." The figure then picked up Zabuza's body and sword and began walking away. "Well, that was odd. Speaking of odd, where were you, Kage?" asked Kakashi, covering his left eye back up. "I decided to see if you were capable as you claim to be, and except for the girl you seem to all have some skill. I stayed back and watched from afar. Perhaps I was wrong in doubting you." That made Naruto and Sasuke beam while Sakura lowered her head in shame. "That's good to hear." Kakashi reached up towards his head and knelt to one knee. "Sensei?" asked Sakura to him. "Using my Sharingan eye drains me a lot, I'll need time to recover my strength." Tazuna patted him on the arm. Come with me, my daughter will be most grateful for your bravery in getting me here, she'll be able to help you recover. Kakashi nodded. Very well then, it'll take me time to recover, plus we said we would protect you until the bridge is done. Kaya then started to walk away. It appears you no longer need my company, I shall leave you to your own path now. Huh, you're leaving? Asked Naruto to him, who nodded. Hi, you no longer need my help. Perhaps our paths will cross again. I believe it will. With that he left the group. Well, now that that is done with, let us finish escorting our client, said Kakashi to the group. They arrived at the island and looked over it. It was a sad sight, it was like a ghost town. Houses were in shambles and there was no marketplace. The few people they saw were incredibly thin and looked like they hadn't eaten in days. And most of them hadn't. The country was badly impoverished. What was even more sad was that the people had no spirit and they seemed to be broken, there was no life in their eyes. This is what that bastard has done to my home. He has broken everyone's spirit and has made this country a shell of its former glory. Do you see what I need to build the bridge? Asked Tazuna to them, who understood fully. Why don't the people fight back? How come they don't stand up to him? Asked Naruto. They tried. My daughter's husband stood up to him and was viewed as a hero by the island. He was such a father figure for my grandson who never knew his true father. He stood up to him. Gato had his men execute him in front of everyone, telling everyone they would suffer the same fate if they resisted him. And so out of fear they obey him. That's bull, shouted Naruto, startling Tazuna. How can they possibly let themselves live like this? Living in fear, barely able to live another day. How can they allow themselves to live like that? Quiet. Gato's men will hear you, warned Tazuna to him. Naruto scowled. These people weren't living, they were just zombies, barely able to live, if you could even call that living. Tazuna, I hope when you complete that bridge you will be able to help Wave realize how stupid they are and drive that bastard out. Nobody should live like this. The group made their way to Tazuna's daughter's home. The woman, Tsunami, was shocked to see her father alive and well. She thanked the team for helping him. They also meet her son Inari. The boy didn't talk much, however, and didn't want to be bothered by them. Tsunami explained to them that the effect of the death of Kaiza, who was a father figure to him, was great on him, and despite her efforts he still was angry and sad most of the time. The next day Tazuna managed to get some construction workers and began construction of the bridge that would connect Wave to the mainland. Kakashi, healing from his use of the Sharingan, told the three that they would be working on chakra control while they were staying in Wave. Naruto was walking through the nearby woods one day when he heard the sounds of grunting and training. Heading towards the source of it, he discovered what was causing it. A figure was throwing needles at a target that it had set up. The figure connected perfectly each time, again and again, flawlessly without one miss. Hey, Naruto called out to the figure. The person turned around and Naruto, looking at the face, immediately thought it was a girl. Hello, nice to meet you on this fine day. The person said to him with a bow. Nice to meet you too, am I interrupting something? No, not at all, you're welcome to join me if you want. Sure, what's your name? My name's Naruto. My name is Haku. Haku. That's an unusually name for a girl to have. Haku smiled and chuckled. What's so funny? I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. That made Naruto's eyes widen in surprise. He rubbed them and double-checked. You're a he. Yes, I got that a lot. You're the cutest boy I've even seen. I would have sworn you were a girl. Haku let out a laugh as Naruto sat on the ground and Haku went over and sat next to him. So, Haku, tell me about yourself. Do you live here? No, I'm sort of a traveler. I don't stay in one place very often. I take it from your headband you're a leaf nin. Yeah, I'm from Konoha. So Naruto, what are your goals in life? That question caught Naruto off guard. He hadn't expected that from him. And when he thought about it, he really didn't have any goals. I can't say I have a goal, it never really occurred to me yet about what my goal should be. What about you, Haku? What is your goal? Haku sighed and closed his eyes, a smile on his face. My goal in life is to help other people reach their goals. My life goal is to see to it that other people can reach their life goals. Huh? Asked Naruto, confused. Think about it, living your life to help people you care about and inspire them to reach your goals. Always being there to protect them and care for them. It's much better than living for your own needs. What do you mean? Think about it, people live most of their lives selfishly, only concerned for their own goals, never concerned for the goals of others. Some people's goals never come to realization because people won't help them. If people did help others reach their goals instead of focusing on their own, they would be able to help make the world better. So you're saying that your life is devoted to helping others reach their own goals. That's really something, said Naruto. Yes, and I want to protect the people that mean a lot to me. Do you have someone you want to protect with your life, Naruto? Again Naruto paused. He didn't have anyone to protect either. Sure, there was Kabuto and Anko, but they could defend themselves and they often were the ones who saved him when he was in trouble. Haku's words were getting to him. I do want the people to protect the people close to me, but the problem is, there isn't really anyone that cares about me or that I could protect. Most people look down on me and the ones I do care about are stronger than me. Then you are weak, said Haku to him, who turned his head to face him. A person is only truly strong when he is protecting someone, risking their life to save that of the people they care for. That is what strength is, in my opinion. Without someone to care for and protect, you are weak no matter how strong you claim to be. Naruto looked at him and saw Haku stand up. I need to go now, Naruto, maybe we will see each other again. With that, Haku walked away, leaving Naruto to his thoughts. The next day, Zabuza winced and breathed in pain as the boy behind him put new bandages across his ribs. Not only was he weakened by Haku's technique to put him in a death-like state, but he also had injured ribs thanks to that bounty nin's jutsu which nearly crushed him. If Haku hadn't saved him in time, he might have been killed. Are you alright, Zabuza-sama, are they on too tight? Asked Haku to him, his voice filled with concern. No, they're fine, I've had worse injuries. What was the name of that bounty nin? I think he said his name was Kaya. After this job is done, let's pay that maggot a little visit for what he did to me. Zabuza said to him, who nodded in agreement. The two were at their hideout resting until Zabuza had healed from his wounds. Then they would kill their target before he finished the bridge. I've heard everything didn't go according to plan. The two turned and saw the businessman Gato, who had his two guards with him. A scowl formed on Haku's face as he entered, but a look from Zabuza told him to keep himself in check. It was just a minor setback. I got caught off guard, that's all. This time I will kill the man. Gato scowled and walked forward. You'd better, if that fool completes that blasted bridge I'd lose millions. I'm starting to wonder if you are as good as you claim to be. At that, Haku scowled and walked forward. Zabuza-sama is the greatest. He's the greatest ninja to ever come from Mist. He's certainly better than this job that you offered us. Gato went to slap him, but Haku caught the wrist and began to twist it. Gato's bodyguards started to come forward, but a glare from Zabuza made them change their minds. Listen closely, Gato, we will kill the man before he completes the bridge, and after we are done you will pay us an extra 30%, and we expect to be paid in full. If you doubt my skills again or even think about backstabbing us, you will learn why I'm referred to as a demon. Understand? Threatened Zabuza while Haku crushed his wrist. The man nodded understanding and Haku let go of him. The man with a glare left the two at their hideout. Add another thing to our list of things to do, Haku. After we are done with this mission, we will kill that slob of a man afterwards. Mentioned Zabuza to him. Hi Zabuza-sama. Golden eyes peered behind the wolf mask that he wore to conceal himself. He had watched and accompanied the boy during his first mission, and he was proud of his skill that he had shown. Now was the chance he had been waiting for. He had to time this perfectly. He couldn't hope to mess up on this. This was a perfect opportunity for him to get him. He and his son would be reunited, and he planned on being reunited with him within a week. Chapter 12. His true form is finally shown. Naruto looked up at the tree before him. It was a pretty tall one and he was determined to climb it. Calmly he walked towards it and pressed one foot on it. He focused hard on it and then put his other leg on it as he concentrated on doing this task. He didn't fall, focusing on his chakra control for him to stick to it. He then began slowly walking up the tree. He made his way up at a steady pace, keeping himself on the tree as he walked up the tree. Kakashi had started teaching them about chakra control while they stayed in Wave while Tazuna finished building the bridge. They had to use their chakra and control it and walk up the practice tree he had set up. To everyone's surprise, Sakura was able to master it pretty quickly, surprising herself. Sasuke and him were neck and neck in the same spot, trying to outdo each other. I know in canon he couldn't do it until he got help, but in this FIC he's got better chakra control. He was nearing the halfway part of the tree, which would be the highest he had currently gotten. A smile formed on his face as it looked like he was finally getting the hang of it. That was when he lost his focus. He fell to the ground, but before he landed on his back he managed to flip in the air and land on his feet. Avoiding a nasty fall, he glared up at the tree in annoyance. He had to keep focus. He couldn't be distracted by such things. He then heard footsteps and he turned his head and saw to his surprise Sakura. The girl was walking towards him. Ever since the fight with Zabuza where he had slapped her for her uselessness, she hadn't been herself. She didn't obsess over Sasuke as much and was quiet. "Hey Sakura, what are you doing here?" he asked the girl. The girl didn't respond, instead she watched him. Figuring she wasn't going to talk, he started to walk up the tree again. "Naruto," he heard her say. He stopped what he was doing and looked back at her. "Can you help me get strong?" That was a bit surprising. He never thought he'd hear those words coming out of her mouth. He looked at the girl who looked down. "I've been thinking about what you said. You're right, I am weak and useless. During the fights you, Sasuke, and Sensei did all the work while I did nothing. I was too scared to do anything. What you said back there got to me. You did all the work, I didn't do anything at all but stand there scared. Some kunoichi I am." Naruto frowned at that. "I'm glad you realized that, Sakura, but why do you want my help? I'm sure Sasuke would be a better helper for you like everyone says he is." Sakura blushed at that. "I did ask him, but he was too busy focusing on his own training. And Kakashi is looking over the construction of that bridge, so I decided to ask you and see if you can help me. I'd like to help you, Sakura, but for now I'm too busy trying to use my chakra to get up this tree. What if I helped you on that? I could give you some pointers on how to focus your chakra better, in exchange for you helping me on my skills. That sounds like a fair trade to me." Naruto thought over that for a moment. Sakura did have good control over her chakra, so she could help him get control over his. Plus, if he helped her on her skills, she and the others would realize he's not the idiot most people think he is. "Okay, Sakura, in exchange for helping me with my chakra control, I'll help you on your skills. Elsewhere. I think in about 2 days I'll be fully healed and ready to finish our job, Haku," said Zabuza Momochi to the feminine boy. The two were at their hideout resting. Zabuza was getting stronger and it was obvious he'd be back at full strength soon. After he had healed, they would resume trying to kill Tazuna before he completed that bridge he was working on. "Hi Zabuza-sama, I'm ready to follow any order you give me," replied Haku to him. The boy had been a spy for him at times, wearing clothes that made him appear either like a boy or a girl and seeing how the bridge was doing. It was nearing completion but would still take a couple days for it to be connected to the mainland. Gato must be getting extremely paranoid by now, as he had sent some thugs to deal with it, but they were disposed of easily. "Haku, you say you would follow any order I give. If I told you to jump into a shark-filled ocean, would you do it?" Zabuza asked him. Haku stared at him for a moment before he responded. "Of course I would, Zabuza, and I hope to emerge from it victorious. You have displayed undeniable loyalty to me ever since I took you in, Haku. No matter how cold or cruel I was, you were always there by my side following orders. Why is that? I told you, I am your tool to use as you see fit. I would gladly do anything that you tell me to do. Serving you, Zabuza-sama, is my life. And what would you do if I should die? Then what would you do?" Haku paused for a moment, a bit surprised at his words. "What are you talking about, Zabuza-sama? You won't die, you're the greatest ninja I've ever known, you can't die. You'll rule Mist and restore the 7 swordsmen, and I'll be by your side protecting you as always. But if by any chance I should die, what would you do? I am a missing nin and have a bounty on my head. Would you be able to follow your own path? Or would you wander aimlessly without a purpose like a fish that has lost its school?" The boy's face had a scowl on it due to his words. "You won't die, Zabuza-sama, you can't die, not until I help you reach your goal. You mean the world to me, and I'd gladly give up my life to ensure that you continue to live yours." He didn't want to hear words like that coming from him, the man who taught him everything he knew. Zabuza looked at him, seeing the scowl that wasn't seen very often on the kind boy's face. "You'll have to realize, Haku, that one day I'll die. What will you do then? You'll have to find your own purpose then." "No, Zabuza-sama, I don't believe you. You can't die," said Haku in defiance. "That's enough, Haku, right now we need to focus on our target," said Zabuza, done talking with the boy. I'm going to get some herbs for your wound, Zabuza-sama. I'll be back later, said Haku to him as he exited the hideout. The man's words stuck in his head. The next day, Kakashi watched the 3 students each attempting to walk up the practice tree. Sakura was able to walk up hers easily with little trouble as she had good control over her chakra. While Sasuke and Naruto were taking their time competing with each other, trying to one-up the other. Watching the two, he was reminded of how he and Obito used to do things like that. Obito was like Naruto, but Naruto wasn't as big of a goof as he was and smarter than he was. While Sasuke seemed to be a splitting image of him. Both him and Obito had numerous contests during their youth, Obito wanting to one-up him and Kakashi outdoing him out of humor just to spite him. He had thought about when Naruto had gone off at him for not teaching him and Sakura and instead focusing on Sasuke. Refusing to teach them skills while he focused on Sasuke. He realized that he was doing the opposite of what Minato had done. When he was starting, Minato gave each of his students equal attention, helping them. He always spent an equal amount of time with them, helping them with their skills, ready to help them improve. Kakashi realized what a fool he had been. The son of his sensei words, he thinks that he's the Yondaime's son, he doesn't know who his true father is, had gotten to him, and so did the bounty nin's words as well. Although he claimed teamwork was the most important part of a team, he had stuck only with Sasuke, not even bothering to help the other two at times. He would make it up to them. Once they got back to Konoha, he would start training them as equally as the other. Instead of focusing on one and ignoring the others, he would give them all equal training. Naruto and Sasuke were engaged in a competition, each trying to get higher than the other up the practice tree they were using. Sasuke at first thought he could Naruto easily, but to his surprise Naruto kept up with him with no trouble at all. This only made him more determined to beat him. He stopped at the highest part he could go and figured Naruto was done as well. But to his surprise he saw Naruto walk past him, a smirk on his face as he continued walking. Sasuke scowled and, not to be outdone, started going up as well. The two each made their way up. Sasuke was nearing the top of it and so was Naruto, but he was so focused on beating him that he lost concentration and fell off the tree. He landed on his feet with a scowl on his face. Naruto laughed and leapt down. "Looks like you're getting lazy, Sasuke," he said to him with a grin. "Naruto, don't gloat," chastised Sakura at him, leaping down as well. "Don't bother telling the dope that, Sakura, let him enjoy his little victory. It'll be his last one," sneered Sasuke. Naruto frowned at that. "Hey, knock it off with the high and mighty attitude, Sasuke, you're not better than me, so get off your high horse. I've won some and you've won some, that's how it goes. I happen to win this one. Alright, that's enough, you three." They turned and saw Kakashi walk towards them. "Focus on your rivalry later. For now let's head back, you each did a good job today." Grudgingly, Naruto and Sasuke left it at that. During their time protecting Tazuna, Team 7 learned about how Gato came to power, how he broke Wave's spirit and all the terrible things he had done. Tsunami was trying to help her son, but the boy, traumatized by the events, still had a long way to go. He blamed Kaiser, the man who was a father figure to him, death for what had happened. Naruto had talked to the boy, seeing a bit of him in the boy. At first the boy wanted nothing to do with him, but Naruto eventually was able to get the boy to talk to him and tell him that even though despite what had happened he had the power to change his fate, and that Kaiser wanted him to protect the land when he became old enough for him. This started to have an effect on Inari. Team 7 usually spent their time watching over the construction of the bridge to make sure nothing happened. Once thugs hired by Gato had attacked, but they were easily driven off. The bridge would soon be complete and the people of Wave started to have hope return to them. One day, with the bridge almost finished, Tazuna was talking with Kakashi. "You don't know how grateful I am for you for what you have done. Without you getting me here we never would have recovered. Please, it's nothing at all to us. But we must repay you. I am eternally in you and your team's debt. Even my grandchildren's grandchildren would still be in your debt. Enough, Tazuna, leave the sentimental stuff behind. Besides, this event has helped me realize my errors thanks to Naruto. Yes, the boy is a good kid, he also seems to have an effect on my grandson, he actually smiled yesterday. That's good to hear for you and your daughter. Now then, it shouldn't take much longer for the bridge to be built, so we'll be leaving soon." Tazuna nodded as the two overlooked the construction of the bridge. Unaware to either of them, two pair of eyes watched them. The two watched their target talking with the Jonin. Haku, I'll deal with the workers, our target, and the Jonin. You deal with his students and make sure they don't interfere, understand? Asked Zabuza to him. Haku, wearing the Hunter Nin mask, slowly nodded as they got ready to make their move. Kakashi and Tazuna were getting ready to head back to the town when they suddenly heard screaming coming from the way they came. The two immediately rushed back and saw to their shock the slain bodies of the construction workers. Then saw one worker getting tossed off of a familiar sword, and Kakashi's eyes widened in shock when he saw the attacker. Zabuza, but you're supposed to be dead. He shouted at him. The swordsman smirked beneath his bandages at him. Maybe I am a ghost that has come back to take my vengeance. He then charged Kakashi, who had to defend himself from his attacks. Once again he was engaged in battle with the demon of the mist. At the village, Naruto was walking when he heard a voice cry out. He quickly started running but stopped and looked around a corner and saw two men holding Inari hostage. The boys seemed terrified as they had weapons drawn and looked like they were going to kill him. He was about to attack them when he saw Tsunami appear. Stop. Leave my son alone, she shouted at them. The two men looked at her in annoyance. Shut up, woman, your old geezer of a father has made Master Gato very angry for that. This kid is going to pay the price. And your father is now being killed as we speak. Sneered one of them. Please, I beg of you. I'll do anything you ask if you leave my son alone, she pleaded with them. The two men licked their lips and had a lustful look in their eyes as they scanned her body. Naruto, seeing this, knew what they had in mind. Seeing enough, he began to make hand seals ready to deal with them. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Suddenly, to the two men's surprise, multiple copies of a person appeared before them. The two bodyguards were quickly beaten down by the clones. After making sure they were unconscious, Naruto binded the two and checked on Inari. Naruto. He turned and saw Sasuke and Sakura running towards him. What is going on? What are you doing? Asked Sakura to him. I don't have time to explain. Right now Kakashi is in danger and so is Tazuna. Sasuke cursed. Looks like we're going to have some trouble after all. We'd better hurry. Right, Sasuke, you come with me. Sakura, you look after Tsunami and Inari. What? But I wanna. Sakura started to protest until Naruto cut her off. They need your protection, Sakura. You have to look after them in case more of those guys come after them while we try to help Kakashi. Do you understand? Explained Naruto to her. Slowly the pink-haired girl nodded, seeing how they would need her help. Naruto, let's move, shouted Sasuke at him as the two headed their way towards the bridge. Kakashi dodged an attempted swipe at his head from the swordsman, who attempted to cleave his head off. Every time he attacked him, he quickly went back into the mist that he had made, and Kakashi couldn't keep up with him in his domain. Cuts were on his body from near hits. Suddenly Zabuza charged out of the mist right at him, sword raised up high. Kakashi dodged the swipe and kicked him in the ribcage. He then punched him in the jaw, knocking him against the side of the bridge. Kakashi went to strike him again, but he saw to his surprise him fade into water. He then realized that it was a Mizabushin and that he had been tricked. He turned around quickly and saw the real Zabuza preparing to cleave him in half. Unable to defend himself, he could only watch as the blade neared his head, only to be intervened and blocked by a katana. Zabuza looked shocked that someone had interfered, and both he and Kakashi turned their heads and saw who had blocked the attack. Kaya! Shouted Kakashi in shock that the bounty nin had appeared before them. The man, his face covered by his signature wolf mask, was able to block Zabuza's attack and pushed him back. Bounty nin, I remember how you nearly broke my ribs. I'll pay you back by taking your head. Sneered Zabuza at Kaya. Kaya went into a fighting stance, katana drawn. I didn't think you were really dead, so I went in hiding until you decided to make another attempt. This time I'll make sure you're dead. Sneered Kaya as well. We'll see about that. Zabuza charged him at blinding speed and slashed at him in a vertical angle. Kaya leapt back and leaned his head back to avoid the blade but couldn't dodge it fully. Kakashi watched as part of the left side of the mask that covered Kaya's face was cut off, revealing some of his features. Kakashi at first paid it no mind until he saw the man's eye. It was a golden color, and the skin that could be seen from it was extremely pale. And the man's eye, it was slanted and shaped, like that of a snake. Naruto and Sasuke neared the bridge and started to run across it. As they made their way across, suddenly mirrors covered them from all sides. There were 12 mirrors around them and 8 on top of them and 1 at the very top. And they seemed to be made of ice. What trick is this? Shouted Sasuke. And genjutsu of sorts. No trick, just my Kage Genkai, said a voice. A figure appeared in one of the mirrors and they recognized it as the Hunter Nin. What the? You're the Hunter Nin who killed Zabuza, what are you doing here? Said Naruto to him. Wrong, I am actually one of his subordinates. I was able to trick you into thinking I killed him when in fact I only knocked him out and put him in a coma-like state. And if you value your lives you will run while Zabuza-sama finishes his job. Sasuke smirked. What makes you think we're going to run? I'll melt your mirrors with no problem. Sasuke then made hand symbols and sent a fireball at the mirror the Hunter Nin was in. To his surprise the fireball did little damage. My bloodline ability allows me to mix water and air to make nearly impenetrable ice. It takes a powerful attack for one of my mirrors to shatter. Now I tell you again, I do not wish to kill you but if you refuse to heed my warning you leave me no choice. Sorry, but we're not going anywhere but forward, exclaimed Naruto at him. Very well then, you leave me no choice, said the person. The Hunter Nin suddenly started throwing Senbon at them which they narrowly dodged. The figure then reappeared in another mirror and threw more Senbon at them. One struck Naruto in the arm and one hit Sasuke in the leg. Damn, that guy's got good aim, winced Naruto feeling the sting. He moves so fast between those mirrors it's almost impossible to follow, shouted Sasuke at him as he pulled one out of his leg. The figure continued throwing needles at them and moving at quick speeds. 1 minute he was behind them, the next he was above them throwing needles down upon them. The two were in a tight fix as they couldn't figure out a way to get out. Even Naruto's Kage Bushin technique had little use as the figure threw needles at all of them and defeated them with little difficulty. Naruto winced when he felt one of the Senbon hit him near one of his organs was at. There had to be a way to crush those mirrors and get out of here. He looked over at Sasuke and saw him doing an okay job of dodging the needles. Sasuke dodging the needles with a bit of struggle then saw an attack that would kill the both of them, forcing himself to focus on the attack instead of the attacker. He then saw how the attack was going to be done, how the figure would strike both of them through the heart at opposite sides. Naruto, I don't like you and you don't like me, but listen to me. When I say jump, leap into the air as high as you can. Naruto looked at him a bit confused but slowly nodded his head. Suddenly the figure appeared in front of Sasuke and threw a needle aimed for his heart. He then appeared in front of Naruto and threw another one. Jump. The two immediately leapt into the air as high as they could, avoiding the attacks. When they landed, Naruto looked at Sasuke and suddenly noticed that something had happened to Sasuke's eyes. They were now red and had toma which were around his pupil. The attacker in the mirrors noticed this and stopped his barrage. At last, I've finally obtained the Sharingan, exclaimed Sasuke as he obtained the use of his clan's ability. Damn it. This makes things much more interesting, and I used a lot of chakra too. I'll have to dispel my mirrors until I regain my strength, muttered the figure. Slowly the mirrors disappeared and the attacker was on the bridge in front of them. Sasuke smirked and decided to try out his Sharingan. He charged the Hunter Nin and began attacking him, easily able to read his attacks before he even knew what he was going to try. To his credit, the attacker managed to hold his own even with his attacks being known. Sasuke delivered a kick to his stomach and knocked him away. He went to attack him again, but to his surprise the figure grabbed him by the leg and did his Kage Genkai on him. Suddenly Sasuke's leg was trapped in ice. The figure then grabbed his other leg and did the same to it, causing Sasuke to fall, his legs trapped and him unable to move despite his attempts to free himself. Now then, it's time I end this, said the figure as he drew Senbon and prepared to throw it. Sasuke. Saneigishu. He turned and saw Naruto running towards him making hand seals. He then reached out his hand and a snake shot out of his sleeve at him. He attempted to dodge it as the snake struck his mask, causing it to fall off his face, revealing himself. Haku, shouted Naruto, seeing his face in shock. He instantly recognized the boy's features and was shocked to see him. What are you doing here? Why are you attacking us? Haku looked at him sadly. Remember what I said. My goal is to help others reach theirs. I am helping Zabuza-sama reach his goal. You work for him, said Naruto to him. Yes, I am his tool. I will follow any order that he gives me no matter what the cost. How could you work for him? And why do you refer to yourself as a tool? Asked Naruto, not understanding. Haku smiled sadly. He took me in after I discovered my bloodline ability. My father killed my mother when he discovered what I could do. I killed him and the mob that tried to attack via use of my bloodline which they feared. I discovered Zabuza. I pleaded with him to take me in and make me his tool for him to use. He has taught me much and I follow any order he gives me. Sasuke, managing to break free, stood up and prepared to confront Haku again when Naruto stopped him. My goal in life is to help Zabuza reach his. You oppose his goals and for that I must kill you. No, Haku, I won't fight you, nor will I kill you, said Naruto. He understood Haku, how he was hated for something beyond his control and made himself into an emotionless weapon for his master to use. He felt like they were brothers in a way, as he too had something he didn't understand that made people hate him. I won't kill you, Haku. I understand what you mean and how much you wish to serve him, but you're doing it the wrong way. You're just mindlessly following his orders. You aren't thinking for yourself. What makes you think he cares for you? After you're no longer of any use to him, then what? He gets rid of you. Silence, shouted Haku. Don't you dare talk about Zabuza-sama that way. He gave me a chance when no one else did. He's the reason I'm alive. I would gladly give up my life for him so that his dreams come true. He means more to me than anything. Haku got ready to fight them but then felt something telling him Zabuza was in danger. He quickly ran off, heading towards him. Sasuke and Naruto immediately ran after him. Zabuza was trapped by an earth jutsu which held his arms and legs that Kage had used to trap him. It was a long fight between the three of them, but with the copy nin and bounty nin working together they managed to trap the swordsman, and now, he had nowhere to go. This ends now, Zabuza. No more games, no more attempts to feign your death and trick us. I'm going to finish you off once and for all, said Kakashi, revealing his Sharingan eye. He then made hand symbols and lightning started to form around his hand. Kakashi struggled for a moment but then got it under control. No, Zabuza-sama. Each man then saw Haku running, trying to stop the attack from happening. Behind him were Sasuke and Naruto. Haku, stand down, shouted Zabuza, which caused him to stop. He then looked at the boy. Remember when I said you'd have to find your own path? Well, it appears that that time is now. No, Zabuza-sama, stand down. That's an order. Haku was then grabbed by Naruto, stopping him from interfering. Kakashi, seeing that he would only get one chance, then charged Zabuza. At that moment a conversation happened between Zabuza and Haku that no one else heard. No, Zabuza-sama, you can't die. That's enough, Haku. You've done well in your years of service and I thank you for your faithfulness despite how I treated you at times. I don't want you to die, Zabuza-sama. Find your own path of life from now on, Haku. Live your life not as a tool but as a person. Like I told you, don't wander around aimlessly without a purpose. Zabuza-sama, once you believe yourself to be strong enough, I want you to take my blade as your own. I trust you'll use it wisely. Farewell, Haku. Zabuza. Kakashi neared Zabuza and activated the jutsu. Reikiri. The attack struck Zabuza right through the chest, killing him. And so ended the life of Zabuza Momochi. His body fell to the ground. Haku fell to his knees in shock and disbelief over what he had just saw. Tears started to fall from his eyes as he watched the now lifeless body. He then ran off away from them. Well, it's finally over. Now then, Kage, there's something I want to ask you, said Kakashi after some time had passed. Kage looked at him, but then they heard a voice. Useless maggot, can't do anything right. They all turned and saw Gato, and behind him was an army of thugs. Want something right, do it yourself instead of hiring some bastard nin, he said as he spat. This upset Naruto at that. Hey, shut up, you stupid slob, why don't you just leave? Gato smirked and mentioned to his men. My men will take care of that stupid fool first and the rest of you fools as well, then I will leave. Fools. That's what we are to you. Gato sneered. Of course. All ninja are fools, they do anything you tell them to do if you pay them enough. They're nothing but a bunch of idiots who follow some stupid way. To hell with them. They are nothing but maggots and I will crush them one by one. Naruto started getting angry at that, which Kakashi noticed. Kage noticed it as well. You ninja are stupid fools. I enjoy using you like the tools that you are, but if you want something done right, hire some muscle of your own and see to it that it's done yourself. I never would have paid him or that brat anyway, as he was a missing nin and no cares if they get killed. Where is that brat anyway? Did you kill him as well? That's it. shouted Naruto, hearing enough about how he used them. Suddenly a red aura of chakra started to form around him as his anger growed. You think we're just mindless tools for you to use, like you did Zabuza and Haku? Well, I'm going to show you how much you're wrong. In Naruto's mind he then heard a voice speak. At last I am able to show these maggots my wrath. Naruto's eyes turned red and he grew fangs and claws as well. This shocked everyone. Kakashi and Kage realized what it was. No, the nine-tailed fox! Exclaimed Kakashi, feeling its power. At last, now perhaps maybe my chance, muttered Kage. Naruto then charged the fear-stricken Gato and his men. They tried to kill him but he was too fast for them to follow as he cut through their ranks with ease, sending them scattering with shouting demon boy and monster. He then came upon Gato, who was attempting to run. Before Gato could react, Naruto stabbed him in the stomach and lifted him up. At the back of the bridge was an armed group of people led by Sakura and Inari, who saw the display. Naruto then stabbed him through the chest and tossed him over the bridge, sending him to a watery grave. Naruto began to feel his rage and anger subsiding and the aura of chakra left him as he returned to normal. Suddenly, to all the people watching, his features started to change. His blonde hair turned black and became longer, reaching past his neck. His skin became lighter and lighter. And his eyes took a different shape. They became more slanted looking, and although blue they were darker and shaped like that of a snake. The boy, unaware that his features had changed, then collapsed unconscious from that sudden use of power. Naruto, what's happened to him? Asked Kakashi in disbelief. The genjutsu that was placed on my son by the Sandaime has been removed, that's what has happened. Exclaimed Kage. Kakashi turned to look at him and saw to his shock Kage remove his mask, revealing fully his features. Orochimaru! He exclaimed in shock and fear. The snake Sannin, now no longer in disguise, smirked and then quickly went over to the fallen Naruto. He picked the boy up and put him on his back before anyone could stop him. Now that my son and I are together, we will show Konoha what happens when you separate a father from his son. Shouted Orochimaru at him. What? Your son? What do you mean? Shouted Kakashi at him. Orochimaru grinned. Ask Sarutobi about it, I'm sure he'll gladly tell you. And with that he and the unconscious Naruto disappeared before any of them could stop him. Kakashi was left stunned over what had just happened. His son? What was he talking about? Orochimaru run through the woods of Wave. His unconscious son on his back that he was carrying. He was heading to a boat that would take him and Naruto off the island. Along the way he suddenly heard crying. Stopping, he then checked and saw the source. It was Haku. The boy sat in the woods crying his eyes out. The boy sobbing over Zabuza's death. Orochimaru watched him, feeling something telling him that the boy might be of use. Enough. His shout startled Haku, who looked at him. He recognized him in his uniform. You're the one who killed Zabuza. The boy walked towards him, anger in his eyes. Slap. He was unexpectedly slapped across the face by Orochimaru. He winced and rubbed his cheek, which stung. Crying over what has happened won't do anything but stain the ground. What's happened happened and there's nothing you can do to change it. Grow up and move forward. But serving Zabuza-sama was my whole life, serving him meant everything to me. Did you not hear him? He said to follow your own path from now on. I don't think he'll be very pleased with you moping about his death. It's all right if you mourn his death, but living the rest of your life moping about what had happened is foolish. But I don't have a purpose anymore. Orochimaru sighed. This kid was a good ninja, but without a purpose he was a lost cause. It reminded him of Kimimaro when he first met him. Look, if you want a purpose to live, come with me. Naruto could use someone like you to help him. Naruto. Haku looked at the unconscious child on Orochimaru's back. My son, after 12 years I'm finally able to get him back. But he looks like so different now. He had blonde hair, now it's black. Orochimaru smirked. In due time all will be explained. Now then, are you going to come with me or not? You have good skill and you're wasting it with your tears. Haku looked at him unsurely but then slowly nodded his head. Orochimaru nodded and mentioned for him to follow him as they made their way out of Wave. Chapter 13. Father and son reunited. At Odogakure, Orochimaru and Haku, along with his unconscious son, neared the gates to the village. They had been traveling for the past couple of days ever since the incident in Wave. There had been no attempts to stop them, probably due to the shocking realization they were too stunned to try to follow him. Orochimaru was happy. He had finally gotten his son, and that ridiculous genjutsu that made him look like that blasted Minato was removed from him. Looking at his son, he realized that he was nearly a mirror image of him. Same black hair, the eyes were slanted like a snake but not as much as his was. His skin was lighter but not as light or pale as his was. Blue eyes, just like his mother also. The boy had occasionally stirred and attempted to wake up, but only for a few moments, then he went back to sleep. He could tell the boy was exhausted from that unexpected burst of using the Kyuubi's power, but he would soon wake up. At his side walking quietly was Haku. The boy had been quiet, rarely talking ever since Zabuza's death. He was confused over what to do, his one goal in life to serve Zabuza faithfully and let him achieve his goal, and he had failed in that cause. He was too weak. He didn't know what to do anymore. He felt like he was lost and without a purpose. He went with him cause he didn't know what else to do. He needed to find himself a purpose so he could have a goal in life. Zabuza's death and the wound caused by it was still strong. He had to fight himself to keep tears from flowing when he thought about him. It would take a long time for the pain to go away. But he knew that he had to be strong. Zabuza told him that he had to be strong and follow his own path now. But the question is, what path is that? Halt! A voice called out as they reached the gates. Two ninjas, each wearing a Hittite with a melody note on it, appeared in front of them. When they noticed Orochimaru, they gasped. "Ah, Lord Orochimaru, please forgive us. We did not recognize you, sorry for the intrusion." Orochimaru waved them away and told them to open the gates so they could get in. The guards immediately opened up the gates and they entered the village. The land previously known as the Land of Rice had gotten stronger under Orochimaru's reign as ZODIVK. Ever since that time the academy they had was rebuilt and instructors were appointed and students had graduated. The people seemed to have regained their spirit and hope. The Fuma clan was regaining its status and the head of a clan, Arashi, was a Jonin instructor and sensei. The people were hoping that in the upcoming Chunin exams that would be held in a couple of months that Sound would be able to go and represent the village in it. The people of the village were respectful towards him, bowing to him when he crossed their paths. This at times annoyed Orochimaru, but he ignored it most of the time. In this village Haku, most of the citizens are different than other people, so do not be afraid that your bloodline will cause you to be hated. There are others here with bloodlines make abnormal than yours. Most of Oto are cast-offs or runaways. I found them and brought them here so they could be trained without the fear of being hated just because they are different," said Orochimaru to him as they walked towards the Otokage's temple. "What about Naruto? I remember him telling me that there was something that caused most of his village to hate him. Was it because you're his father?" asked Haku to him. Orochimaru paused. "Most people of Konoha don't know that I am his father. If you remember how he looked like before, it was because a genjutsu placed on him when he was a child. Then why did they hate him? That's something I'll have to explain to him when he wakes up, the main reason why those bastards hated him," he said with a snarl that Haku found unnerving. The two entered his temple. At the entrance was a group of 4 people that had clothes and purple bows wrapped around their waists. "Orochimaru-sama," said one of them, who seemed to be the leader of the group. The 4 kneeled before him as he approached. "Arise," he ordered them as he neared, and they did so. "We have wondered why you were gone so long, sir," said one, a person who had 6 arms. "I had business to take care of, but now it's done." "Who's the kid, sir?" asked one, the largest of the group, towards Haku. "This is Haku, another person who has decided to join us." "Haku? What kinda stupid idiot gives a name like that to a girl?" asked the female of the group who had red hair. Haku smirked and replied, "Although my appearances can be deceiving, don't be fooled. I am actually a boy." "A boy?" shouted all 4 members at once in disbelief. Orochimaru chuckled at their display. "Haku, this is the Sound 4, my top-ranked nins, they serve as my bodyguards." "Hey, nice to meet ya, name's Sakin and this is Ukin," said the leader of the group, who revealed his brother. "You can call me Kidomaru," said the one with 6 arms. "My name is Jirobo," said the large one. "Name's Tayuya," muttered the female of the group. "Nice to meet you all," said Haku with a bow, surprising them with his courtesy. "Orochimaru-sama, who's that on your back? Another brat that you picked up?" asked Sakin. At that Orochimaru frowned at him. "This brat, as you refer to him is someone very important to me. Now follow me," he ordered them, who immediately moved out of his way as he walked down the path. The four began to follow him. Haku was about to follow them when he heard a voice. I haven't seen you here before. He turned around and saw a white-haired boy around 15 wearing white robes and the same kind of bow around his waist walk forward. He had green eyes and 2 red dots on his forehead. My name is Haku, I just recently got here. The figure let out a small cough before he told him his name as well. My name is Kimimaro Kagaya, a pleasure to meet you. When the two looked at each other's eyes, the two felt something familiar about the other, as if they had met before when they were younger. Orochimaru, with the sound 4 beyond him, curious about who the person he carried. He made his way to a room in the temple. Sir? Asked Sakin. Orochimaru turned his head to face him. That's the room you said that no one was allowed to enter, that only a specific person you said was allowed to enter. Orochimaru nodded. Correct, and this is the specific person that I told you about, this is his room. With that he unlocked the door and opened it. The room was well furnished and well built, complete with a bathroom and other rooms. Orochimaru entered the room and gently placed the boy on the bed. He then turned to the 4 sound nins. This child is very important to me, if any harm comes to him, it's all of your heads. He warned darkly to them. The group nodded, understanding fully. He looked back at Naruto and saw how he was sleeping peacefully. Almost as an afterthought he walked towards him and removed the leaf hitai that he wore and threw it in the trash. That part of Naruto's life was over, and it was time for a new beginning. To Yuya, stay here and watch over him. When he wakes up, inform me immediately, the rest of you come with me. He said, giving an order to them. Jirobo, Sakin, and Kitamura went with him while Tayuya stayed outside muttering about how she got stuck guarding the kid. At Konoha, Hatake Kakashi entered the Hokage's temple, thoughts clouding his head. Ever since that event in Wave, thoughts clouded his head. What had happened back there? He understood Naruto's anger getting the better of him due to Gato's words, but why had he changed? He looked so different after what happened. He looked nothing like he originally did. The messy blonde hair was replaced with black, his skin was lighter and his eyes were more slanted like that of a snake. And speaking of snakes, there was that treacherous manipulating snake that had followed them. He knew that there was something odd about him, but he couldn't place it. When he saw part of his face during the fight with Zabuza, he knew that something was up, but he wasn't 100% sure. And then after the death of Zabuza and Naruto attacking Gato and killing him, he revealed himself fully. Orochimaru, the snake Sannin, had been with them the entire time and he never suspected a thing. And he had taken Naruto after the boy had collapsed. But that wasn't what got him. He said that Naruto was his son, but that wasn't possible, was it? There was no way Naruto could be the child of that snake. Naruto's disappearance had an effect on his students. Sasuke was partially indifferent to what happened but seemed upset over the fact that he lost a potential rival. And Sakura was the most upset. She felt that it was her fault due to her being weak and useless that Naruto was gone. She told them that Naruto was going to help her with her skill and blamed herself for the fact that he was gone. Entering the Hokage's office, Kakashi breathed heavily and got ready to ask his questions. Sarutobi was working on his paperwork when he saw Kakashi walk in. He smiled and looked up. Ah, Kakashi, good to see you. I take it the mission was a success. Kakashi somberly nodded and Sarutobi felt that something was up. Yes, the mission was a success. I take it your students are all right. How was it? We got to Zuna to Wave. We encountered some problems there but we were able to handle it. Sasuke and Sakura are all right but Naruto is. Naruto is what? Asked Sarutobi to him. He is gone. What do you mean gone? During the mission we encountered a man named Gato who was strangling Wave's economy. He had hired some nins to kill our target and us. After we defeated them he berated them and us and called us useless tools to manipulate. That's when Naruto got mad. He somehow activated the Kyuubi's power and heckled Gato and his hired thugs. Afterwards, he changed. What do you mean he changed? He became a whole new person. He looked entirely different, looking nothing like he did before. And then what? Tell me, Kakashi, what has happened to him? He collapsed after he did so, then he was taken from us. Who did it? Kakashi looked him in the face and responded. Orochimaru. That made Sarutobi's eyes widen in shock. He had posed as a bounty nin and joined us temporarily. After the fight was done he revealed himself and took Naruto away. And there was something he said that stuck in my mind. What did he say? He said that Naruto was his son. He said that the boy was his child and that finally the two would be reunited. Sandaime, what is he talking about? There's no way Naruto is the son of that man. He is the Yondaime's son, isn't he? Sarutobi sighed. I'm afraid Orochimaru is telling the truth. Yes, it is true, Naruto is the son of him. Kakashi's eyes widened in shock at that. What? But how? There's no way he could be the son of that snake. You've got to be kidding. Sarutobi shook his head sadly. No, although I wish I was, I am not. Orochimaru is Naruto's father. But how? Remember Kushina Uzumaki? After she and Minato broke up, she met Orochimaru. Shortly after they meet, he got her pregnant. I feared when I learned of it that Orochimaru would turn the child into a weapon. Originally Minato was going to have him banned from Konoha after the child was born so to keep her and Naruto safe. But then came the attack of the Kyuubi. Minato checked on Kushina before he confronted the demon and she was in great pain. She had just delivered the child. She understood what was happening and with her last ounce of strength gave Naruto to Minato, telling him to use her own newborn son to stop the demon. And she died shortly after. Minato did so, and Orochimaru was forced to watch as his son was made into the vessel for the demon fox. He vowed to return and reclaim Naruto, and now he has. So, all this time you lied to us. You told us that he was the son of the Yondaime when in truth he was actually the son of Orochimaru. Asked Kakashi. Sarutobi nodded. I feared that the people in their confusion and anger would try to kill Naruto not only for being the vessel of the fox, but also being Orochimaru's son as well. So I casted an genjutsu on him to hide his true features. Kakashi thought over what he was saying. This was shocking and a bit unnerving to think that he was the sensei of Konoha's most hated enemy. Where could Orochimaru be? He asked him. Sarutobi shook his head. I do not know, no one has ever seen a sight of him ever since he left 12 years ago. We don't have a clue where he could possibly be, but wherever he is, Naruto is probably with him. Kakashi mused over this. I don't know what to say anymore, sir. Orochimaru vowed at Wave that he would make Konoha pay for how we mistreated Naruto, and I don't think he'll be bluffing on that one. Sarutobi sighed and nodded. For now, there is little that we can do concerning Naruto and his father. He has the pieces right now, and it is up to him to how he plays it out. Unknown location. Naruto found himself in a strange place. It was like a sewer. He had no idea how he got here. The last thing he remembered was that he had gotten really angry and something happened. He remembered the fight with Haku, witnessing Zabuza's death, and Gato appearing. Everything after that was just a blur. Slowly he began to make his way down the sewer, walking cautiously. He realized he had no kunai or shuriken, so he had to be careful. As he walked his way down, he felt something down there, something dark and sinister. As he made his way to an exit, he suddenly heard a voice. Who dares enter my lair? Shouted a voice which roared and sent Naruto down to the ground. He looked up and what he saw shocked him. A giant fox, surrounded by dark red chakra and with 9 tails, glared at him. Seeing him, the fox smiled, revealing his very sharp teeth. A cage was encircled around him, cutting him off, but it didn't seem like adequate protection to Naruto. So, we meet at last, my vessel. The fox said, his eyes full of malice. Naruto shivered in fear at the being in front of him. The next thing he knew, he shot up and that he was covered in sweat. He breathed heavily, clutching his heart. He then realized that it was just a bad dream. He went to lie back down but realized that this wasn't his room. Looking around, he noticed that it was well furnished and quite wealthy. Where am I? How did I get here? He asked himself, not having any clue how he did. He wasn't in Konoha, nor was he in Wave. He saw a bathroom and feeling a bit drowsy still, he got out of bed and walked into it. Not bothering to look in the mirror, he turned the water faucet on and splashed water onto his face to get rid of the drowsiness. Seeing a towel, he got one and wiped the water off his face. After done drying, he then looked into the mirror. His eyes widened and he backed away at what he saw. He immediately rubbed his eyes and checked them, but when he opened them, he saw the same thing. His once messy blonde hair was now black and long, reaching down past his neck. His skin had become lighter and paler. His eyes were still blue, but they weren't as round as they were. They were more slanted like. The only thing that hadn't changed was the markings that were on his face. He checked his body all over, checking himself. Nearly every part of his body had changed. He had become a whole new different person. He then did the one thing that seemed like the right thing to do at the time. He screamed. Yuya was waiting outside wondering when the kid was going to wake up when she suddenly heard a scream coming from the room. She opened the door immediately and checked the room. She saw the boy lying in the bathroom and he had a petrified look on his face. "Hey, what's happened? What's wrong?" she asked him. He turned his head to face her and he got startled when he saw her. "What's happened to me? Why do I look so different? What? Calm the hell down," she shouted at him, not understanding. "My body. It's all changed. I had blonde hair and now it's black. What's happened to me?" the boy screamed in paranoia. Slap. The boy turned his face and winced as he rubbed his face as the girl had slapped him. "Look, calm down for a freaking minute. What are you talking about?" she asked him again. The boy breathed heavily, trying to calm down. After taking in some deep breaths, he slowly started to relax. I was at Wave, doing a mission. My team was, where's Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura?" "Who?" she asked him. "My teammates, we were at a mission. We had just defeated a powerful ninja named Zabuza, when this jerk showed up and began telling us off, saying we were just mindless tools. I got mad and the rest is just a blur." "Well, I don't know about Wave Kid or your teammates, but you're in Otogakure as of now." Otogakure. The hidden village of sound. Dipface, we may be small right now but soon we're gonna kick every other village's ass. Naruto looked at the girl as the two sat on the floor. He hadn't heard of the village of sound, so he had no clue where he could possibly be. "Come on, let's go, there's someone that wants to see you," she said to him. What's your name?" he asked her. "To Yuya. Mine's Naruto." The two exited the room and began walking down the hallway. Naruto, looking around, unsure of his surroundings, unexpectedly grasped the girl's hand in his own. The girl looked at him a bit surprised but didn't let go as they walked. As they walked past a window, Naruto heard a voice. "Hello, Naruto." Naruto turned and saw a familiar face. Haku. The boy was sitting on the windowsill looking at him. "How did you get here?" The boy shrugged. I decided to go with that man after Zabuza died. I didn't know what to do, so I decided to go with you," he said to him. "Alright you two, that's enough, we can't be later, he'll be mad," said to Yuya, dragging Naruto off as he waved bye to Haku, who waved back. Soon they came to a door and Yuya knocked on it. They heard a voice mentioning for them to come in and she opened it. Looking inside it, Naruto saw a man sitting at a desk along with 3 other people. The man raised his head up and the two of them eyes meet. The man then stood up and walked towards him. He noticed his golden slanted eyes and his hair that was like his but longer. The man smiled as he neared him. Suddenly, before Naruto could react, the man wrapped his arms around him. Naruto at first thought he was gonna attack him but felt the man, instead of hurting him, hug him instead. The man wrapped his arms around him, tightly embracing him in a hug. It felt confusing yet at the same time comforting. The Sound 4 looked at the display with confusion, wondering what was going on. "It is good to finally see you, my son," said the man to shocked ears. That made every one of them, including Naruto's, eyes widen in shock. Son? What was he talking about? If that was true, Yuya believed her life to be forfeit since she had striked him. The man let go of him and gently run his fingers through the boy's now black hair. "I can see your mother in you, you have her eyes but you have my features mostly." He then turned to the Sound 4. "Leave. I wish to spend some alone time with my son." The group left the room, leaving the two alone. Who are you?" asked Naruto to him. The man smirked. "I think you would have figured it out by now, Naruto. I'm your father." What? But. Calm down, my son, let me explain." He led the boy to a seat and took one as well. "My name is Orochimaru. 12 years ago you were born. It was a day that I had been looking forward to. For the past year, ever since I met your mother, I had been anxiously awaiting your arrival. Your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, I owe a lot to, cause she changed me." He then reached into a drawer and pulled out a picture with a frame on it. "Here's her picture, it's the only one I have of her." He handed it to Naruto, who looked at it. It featured 2 people. The woman in it had red hair and blue eyes. The man next to her had an arm around her waist and it was resting on her large belly. Both of them had smiles on their faces and seemed to be in love. 1 month before you were born that picture was taken. It's the only picture I have and I want you to have it so you know what your mother looked like. If you're my father, how come I never did see you?" asked Naruto. Let me finish, on the day of your birth something terrible happened. Just mere moments after you were born, the nine-tailed fox demon known as the Kyuubi attacked Konoha. It destroyed everything in its path, killing countless people. I attempted to stop it, but not even Ace Sanin was no match for that beast. When I attempted to attack the creature again, the last thing I wanted to happen did happen. I'm sure you know of the Yondaime, Konoha's greatest hero. He said that with a sneer filled with disgust. Took you from Kushina, I believe she died of a broken heart afterwards. He took you from her and used you as a vessel so he could seal Kyuubi within you. Naruto's eyes widened at that. He then remembered that fox that he saw. Was that the Kyuubi? Yes, child, that is me, said a voice in his head. Are you, Kyuubi? Said Naruto in his thoughts. That is correct, I am the nine-tailed fox that your pale-skinned father is telling you about. Why are you in me? I don't like it any better than you do, kid, so you might as well get used to it. Kyuubi then quieted down and didn't talk to him. I was forced to watch as that bastard sealed the fox into you. You could only imagine how I felt when that happened, the rage I felt watching you become something you shouldn't have. In anger I left but vowed to return one day and take you away from there. And genjutsu was also put on you to hide your true features so nobody would know you were my son. In Konoha's eyes you're nothing but a monster, but I see you as my son and only that. If anyone in Odo disagrees with that, I'll quickly change their minds. He said to him. Naruto looked down at the floor then looked up at him. Why? Why did you leave me? Did you not love me? Orochimaru frowned and knew he had to answer this carefully. He himself didn't know how to answer it. Of course I love you, Naruto, you're my son and I love you more than anything in this world. Why do you think I was there on your 1st and 8th birthday? Naruto thought back to then and figured that the man who saved him on his 8th and the man who was with him on his 1st birthday was his father. I watched you grow from a baby into the boy you are today. Seeing the way those good-for-nothing worms treated you tore me apart. I felt the same pain you felt with every insult or blow that was put upon you. But I think the main reason I left cause I was afraid. I was afraid that no matter how much I changed and raised you, people would still think of you and me as monsters. I've done some things that has casted me in a different light and Konoha would fear me and you, for fear you would become like me. I waited patiently for the day that I would be able to get you away from there and save you from them. You shouldn't had to have been treated like that just because you were different. You saved those fools' lives and they repaid you by treating you like trash. Showing their gratitude by constantly insulting you or beating you while that fool of a Hokage is treated like a hero. Orochimaru then saw tears start to appear on the boy's face. He got up from his chair and started to walk towards him. He kneeled and the two were face to face. My son, no matter what people think of you, always remember that you are not a monster. You are my son and for me that is all that you'll ever be. Naruto looked at his father. He then reached out and hugged him, which caught the snake Sannin by surprise. Orochimaru returned the hug as father and son were fully reunited. Otusan, whispered Naruto into his ear, which caused Orochimaru to smile a true smile. Chapter 14. His new home and village. Later that day, Naruto and Orochimaru was in a room filled with the leading members of ZODIVK and the top ninja. Naruto had a look of uncertainty on him as he looked around. Most people looked at him quizzically, talking to each other, wondering who he was. Next to him was his father, who placed a hand on his shoulder to comfort him and let him know everything was going to be alright. He was out of those orange clothes that he wore and was wearing a purple robe and black pants to go with it. He looked down at his body and noticed the changes. It would take a while for him to get used to how he looked. He looked up at his father, who smiled at him, which caused him to smile back. He believed the man, everything he told him, he felt that it was true. The man cared about him and he could tell that the man would protect him. That he was in fact his father. And Naruto felt happiness inside him when he was told that by him. A father was something that he had wanted for so long and he was finally with his. Orochimaru-sama, why have you called us here for? Is there something urgent to tell us? Asked Arashi Fuma to him, the leader of his clan. Orochimaru patted Naruto on his back and responded. This child is the newest member to join ZODIVK, Naruto Uzumaki, my son. That made the group's eyes widen. Why your son? Asked one of the men as whispers started to come from them. Yes, Naruto is my son, born 12 years ago. We were separated on the day of his birth. I am finally reunited with him, and he is the heir to ZODIVK should anything happen to me. That made Naruto look up at him. He was the heir to an entire country. That surprised him a bit. Last week he was a genin on a dysfunctional team and now he was the heir to an entire village and country. He is already a genin, so there will be no need to have him enter the academy, and he has shown skill as well. He is to be treated well and with respect from all of you in the village. Orochimaru said to them. He then went on to important business. A final thing about this is, my son is the demon vessel for Kyuubi. The nine-tailed fox is within him due to those bastards of Konoha using him to seal Kyuubi. He saw Naruto dip his head at that. He also saw the men look shocked and disgusted as they saw the whisker-like scars on his face. That made him angry and a scowl appeared on his face. He is to be treated and respected like a human being. Just because he is the vessel for the fox does not make him any different than any of you. If any of you or the villagers mistreat or attempt to harm him out of hatred, I swear I'll make every single last one of you wish you were serving under your former lord. He is my son, and harming him is the same as harming me. And trust me, that is not a wise thing for you to do. He said in a warning tone of voice, his snake eyes engulfing them all, including the Sound 4, Kimimaro, and Haku, who were watching from the back, letting them know that he would not tolerate them harming him physically or mentally. He would kill them all if they thanked him for what he has done for them by mistreating his son in his new home. The group remained silent, not speaking. But then Arashi spoke up. I wouldn't dream of harming your son Orochimaru-sama, nor would I strike him just because he is the vessel of the great fox. After all, aren't most of us different than what most of the world would call normal? I can tell the child only yearns for acceptance and we should give it to him. He then stepped forward and got down on one knee. Welcome to the land of sound, Naruto Uzumaki-sama, he said to the boy. The rest of the group kneeled as well to him. Naruto looked around a bit confused over the treatment he was getting, which was so much different than back in Konoha. He also saw a couple of smiles on their faces as well, as if they were happy that he was here. Orochimaru dismissed the group and he and Naruto walked towards the Sound 4, Haku, and Kimimaro. He told them to leave as well but stopped and called Tayuya back. Tayuya, earlier today I noticed a small bruise on his cheek. Where did he get that from? He asked her with a frown. The kunoichi gulped as she knew her goose was cooked. Sure, she had a brash and at times vulgar attitude, but she could be frightened by him. Orochimaru's eyes narrowed as she didn't answer. It was my fault, Otusan, said Naruto to him. I saw my reflection in the mirror and I panicked when I saw how I changed. Tayuya didn't mean to hit me, but I was so frightened that she didn't know what to do. I guess that was the first thing to come to her mind. She did nothing wrong. Orochimaru looked at him and then at Tayuya, who nodded. Very well then, Tayuya, this is your punishment. That made Naruto look at her with concern, as he didn't want her to get harmed for something he did. From now on, you shall be Naruto's accomplice and servant. You shall accompany him when he's walking around the village and do anything he tells you to do. You will do it without question. So I'm basically his babysitter, protested the girl. Either that or bodyguard if you would prefer that instead. You will go with him wherever he goes except for the time you're on missions with the others. And you will follow any command he gives you and do it. Is that understood? Tayuya nodded her head, as she really didn't have a choice. It was either that or be killed. Good, now then Naruto, I have business to deal with. Take a walk around Oto and see what your new home has to offer you. Tayuya will guide you. I'll see you later. With that he left them. So, what do you want to do? Asked Naruto to the red-haired girl as he scratched his head. I don't know, you're the boss doorknob, you decide what we do. But first things first. She then frowned and held up 2 fingers. 2 rules, 1, I may be your servant but I won't do stupid junk, so don't even think about making me do something idiotic. And 2, I won't have sex with you, so get that out of your head. Naruto blushed at that and he waved his hands. What? Where are you getting that from? I don't do that kind of stuff. Tayuya could tell that he was telling the truth. HMPH, well, I figured that since I'm your servant now you'd try to take advantage of me. No, I don't know where you got that from, but I don't think about that stuff. Fine, now what do you want to do, Naruto-sama? Well, for starters you can just call me Naruto. It feels weird being called that. Just call me by my name. Fine, now what? Naruto then heard his stomach growling and he placed a hand on it. He realized then that he was starving, as he hadn't eaten in quite a while. Can we get something to eat? I'm pretty hungry, he asked her. Tayuya smirked and mentioned for him to follow her as they exited the building and went outside. At Konoha, Anko had heard the news from Sarutobi, that Naruto was gone. He had been kidnapped during his mission, and worst of all, it was her despised sensei and the man who was Naruto's father who took him. The snake now had his son back. She cursed herself for her stupidity. She blamed herself for making Sarutobi gave Naruto that mission. She should have known that something was up with that mission when she first saw it. But she had ignored it and made him give it to Naruto. And now he was gone. She leaned against a rail wondering what was happening to the boy. Although he was the son of Orochimaru, over time she had come to like the kid. He was a good kid, a bit confused at times due to how he was treated by the villagers, but he was like a little brother to her. Damn it, Anko, way to go not thinking with your head, she muttered to herself. She then saw someone walking below and recognized him. That boy, he was one of the people that Naruto had met and had called friend. She never did trust him fully and had talked to him at times, but they never meet often. Feeling like he was hiding something, she then decided to confront him. Kabuto was walking around the village when he was suddenly startled by the sight of a purple-haired woman landing in front of him. He regained his composure when he recognized her. "Ah, Anko, always must make a grand entrance," he said to her with a smirk. Anko wasn't amused. "Shut it, I have questions that I should have asked a long time ago." "Oh, yeah, since when did you take an interest in Naruto? You never really did care for the boy, but one day when he is being attacked you save him all of a sudden and look after him. What's up with all the caring? Since when did you care for Naruto?" Kabuto frowned at her. "I don't know what you're accusing me of. I had just gotten tired of watching the fools chase after the boy and decided to help him. Is there a law that states that I'm not allowed to help people?" Anko scowled at that. "To my knowledge, no, but it didn't seem right for you, a person most people know little about and kept to himself, suddenly help a boy. Did you want him to get beaten up? Is that what you are saying? Some friend and protector you, or if you rather see an innocent child get harmed?" He said coldly to her. "Don't mess up my words. You're starting to piss me off, and keep up your mouth and I'll shut it permanently," she warned him. "Enough," said a voice. The two turned around and saw Yumino Iruka walk forward. The instructor at the academy approached them. "I've heard the news and I know why you're angry, Anko, but you shouldn't be accusing Kabuto of stuff." Kabuto looked at the two. "I just learned that Naruto was gone, and she decided to come get onto me." Anko HMPHED and then decided to leave. Kabuto left as well and Iruka was left by himself. He stood there and sighed, wondering how Naruto was doing. Kabuto walking away had a smile on his face. When he had heard of the news that Naruto was going on a C-rank mission, he had told Orochimaru about it. Orochimaru had been planning to get his son for some time but needed an opportunity. He had defeated and killed a bounty nin and taken his uniform, believing it to be useful. He must have used it to get close to Naruto and get him. It was good that Naruto was back with his father. He certainly wasn't going anywhere here with his teammates and constantly being insulted or degraded by the villagers. He knew that Orochimaru would train the boy once he got him back. And then there was the Chunin exams that would be held in a few months. Orochimaru had told him that he had planned on sending some sound nins for the exam to represent Oto. And now that he had Naruto back, he wouldn't be surprised if father and son both returned to Konoha at the exams. At Otogakur, Naruto and Tayuya walked around the village. They had just gotten done eating and Tayuya was giving Naruto a tour of the village, showing him everything the village had. Naruto was curious about the place as he wanted to know about it. When they first started walking, Naruto was a bit concerned that the villagers and ninja would treat him bad, but to his surprise they treated him pretty well and some of them actually smiled at him, which caused him to smile back at them. He was already starting to like being here, though part of him felt they were treating him nicely because of what his father said. Tayuya saw him and could read his thoughts. "Stop thinking that only Orochimaru-sama is the reason why you're being treated well." He turned his head to look at her in the eyes. "You worry too much, you know that, baka. These people probably don't care that you are the vessel for the fox. Even if they did care, they wouldn't mind. If you saw some of the freaks here like Sakin and his brother and Kidomaru, you'd think you was pretty normal." "Really?" asked Naruto to her. Tayuya nodded her head. "Hell yeah, if you noticed most people here are different than others, that's why most of us joined Orochimaru." What can you do to Yuya? Yuya smirked and pulled out her flute. She began playing a tune on it. Naruto listened to the music as she was pretty good. Suddenly he was surrounded by what appeared to be giant monkeys. They had bandages around their faces and ears and they each carried weapons. These are my doki, by playing my flute I can summon them. I'm not good at taijutsu so I can summon them to do my fighting for me. I'm also good at genjutsu so anybody messes with me the bastards will quickly regret it. What are your abilities Naruto? She said to him as she dispelled her summons. Naruto rubbed his head. I really don't have many skills. I wasn't given a lot of training in Konoha. Why not? Well, I was trained but I didn't get much. My sensei, he was pretty lazy, he really didn't help me out, instead he focused on my teammate. He was the golden boy if you could call him that, everybody kissed up to him and told him how great he was, it was enough to turn my stomach. He was good but not that good, yet everything he did was perfect in their eyes. Gee, sounds like some spoiled brat that got everything he ever wanted. Yeah, pretty much, but my other teammate, she was something else as well. What about her? She was, if I say it in a nice way, pretty useless. She was smart and knew everything in the book, but she had no skills, she always relied on us to do things. She was a fangirl of my teammate and obsessed over him thinking that he loved her. She never did anything useful and she criticized me saying that I was useless. The only thing she really had going for her was that she had good chakra control. Yuya sneered. Useless bitch, she muttered. Don't worry about her, she was starting to show signs of improvement as she asked me for help. But it just made me mad that I did everything I could to improve yet was always treated like trash. Everyone ignored me and treated me like dirt except for a few people. Yuya looked at him and could see that he was upset. I guess because those assholes only saw the Kyuubi in you they treated you like that. Guess so. I'm glad I'm here actually. At first I was worried that people here wouldn't accept me but they seem to like me. Well, being the son of Orochimaru-sama does help. I guess it does. Yuya wrapped an arm around his head and led him away. Come on, let me show you the rest of Odo. Elsewhere, Haku sat on a boulder in the woods near the village thinking what had happened the past couple of days. Zabuza, Naruto, and other thoughts went through his head. He thought about how helpless he was back there on the bridge unable to save Zabuza. He needed to become stronger, he needed to protect those he cared for without the fear that he would be unable to save them. He got up off the boulder and began heading towards the Otokage's temple. Along the way he noticed some sound ninjas training. As expected of them they used techniques and jutsu that revolved around sound. One was shooting air out of his hands, another was using a gauntlet that produced sound, and the final one used a combination of needles and bells. He watched them for a while and then left and continued going to the Otokage. He entered Orochimaru's office and saw the snake Sanin looking over papers. He noticed the boy enter and looked up. What can I do for you Haku? He asked him. I want to become stronger. Oh, have you ever had somebody you cared so much for that seeing them in pain drove you over the edge and made you stronger? Yes, my son, I'm sure you know that he means a lot to me. Why do you ask? To me, being strong doesn't mean knowing a lot of jutsus or having great strength. It means protecting the ones you care about. I can tell you care for Naruto a lot and that is what makes you strong. If you fight for someone you care for, that is what makes you strong. Even the weakest nin can become all-powerful when they see somebody they care for in harm. That was the way I felt about Zabuza-sama. Orochimaru looked at the boy, he was wise behind his years and he seemed to be spot on with his words. Do you no longer have anybody to care for Haku? Yes, Zabuza was my whole life, I served him devotedly and almost to the brink of zealously. That's how strong my loyalty to him was. I would willingly give my life to save him and keep him alive. Now that he is dead, I am weak as I don't have anyone to serve. Serve me and Naruto then, said Orochimaru to him. The boy looked up at him. My son needs someone to help him. And I could use a able-bodied ninja like yourself. I can tell by looking at you that you've had a hard life. You possess a Kekkei Genkai, don't you? Haku nodded. Passed down from my mother, I can combine air and water to make ice. And during your youth you had to hid it because not long ago those with bloodlines were feared. Kimimaro told me that his clan was wiped out when they attempted to stop Mist, who had made plans to wipe out the Kageyas. Needless to say they were wiped out except for him. That's terrible. Most of sound are those who are outcasts, some like Sakin, Ukin, and Kitamaru could rarely go to a place and be accepted unless they covered themselves. They rarely have anywhere to go, to them this is the only place where they can walk without fear as they would be shunned in other places. Haku nodded, understanding how he lived when he was discovered bearing a bloodline ability. Living off the trash and fighting dogs for scraps of food. Join me in ZODIVK, Haku. There is nothing left for you anymore. I can give you a purpose and a reason to live. Plus I'm sure Naruto would be happy to see you here. Haku thought over it for a moment. He was right as he didn't have anywhere to go really. And Zabuza told him to find his own path and not to wander around aimlessly without a purpose. Very well then Orochimaru, I'll join Sound for now, and once I've obtained the strength I needed, I will go and claim Zabuza's sword as my own. That is what he would want. Orochimaru nodded as Haku left the room. Later that day he heard a knock on his door. He mentioned for the person to come in. A smile grew on his face when he saw Naruto enter. What do you want, Naruto? Otusan, can you train me? Orochimaru looked at him and smiled. Yes, I can train you, Naruto. Naruto nodded his head at him. I want to get stronger. I want to become a sound nin and defend my new home. Can you help me with that? I don't want to be regarded as a weakling and useless like I was in Konoha. Orochimaru smirked. You have great potential, my son. I can see it within you. I'll help you get stronger. But first you need this. He opened a drawer and pulled out a Hittite that had a melody note on it. This is the headband that Oto Nins wear, I believe you should have it. He gave it to Naruto, who looked over it. As for your teammates, I believe Haku and Tayuya will be fine teammates for you to go along with. Haku's staying here. Correct, I managed to convince him to stay a while. For now he'll be your teammate and Tayuya's a fine kunoichi herself, you three will be a team. Naruto nodded and then spoke up. Otusan, don't go easy on me just because you're my dad. Orochimaru smirked. I didn't have any intentions of doing so, Naruto. I'll train you hard. It'll be grueling and tough, but it'll make you that much stronger. Even though you are my son, I'll let you know that I am a strict sensei and won't tolerate slacking off. Naruto nodded. That was what he was actually hoping, for since he never got tested with Kakashi and all. Good, now then we'll be training soon, so I want you at your best shape and ability. Naruto nodded and left him, glad that his father would be undertaking the task of training him. Like a father should. Chapter 15. First mission is a sound ninja. 2 weeks had passed ever since father and son were reunited and together for the first time in 12 years. Orochimaru, finally getting his son back away from Konoha and bringing him to ZODIVK, taking him away from those who had hated him and treated him like trash, had recently began training Naruto. The boy who looked similar to him now that genjutsu that made him look like that accursed Minato still had trouble at times getting used to how he looked. Gone was the messy blonde hair, he now had long black hair reaching down past his neck. His skin had gotten lighter and his eyes, which were like his mother's, were slanted like his were. The boy looked like his father. Naruto at first was nervous the first couple of days, fearing that he would be treated the same he was in Konoha, but instead he was treated well and seemed to be liked by the villagers. It felt good to know that he could walk around the area without worrying about being yelled at or have rocks thrown at him. And he had begun making friends with some of them, like Zaku Abumi, who had a similar past the way he did. Right now he was currently striking a fighting dummy with blows, Orochimaru watching over him, giving him advice over where to strike. The training was tough and difficult, as even though he was his father, Orochimaru didn't give him any slack. But he accepted it and never gave less than 100%, wanting to get stronger and protect his new home and village as a sound nin. Orochimaru wasn't the only one teaching him, the Sound Four also helped him out. Sakin and Jirobo sparred with him, Kitamaru taught him about aim, and Tayuya teaching him basic genjutsus. At times when he was feeling well, Kimimaro Kage would teach him about swords. Also Haku, who along with Tayuya was going to be his teammate, helped him out as well. It was tiresome and grueling, but he accepted it and continued doing so, determined to get stronger. Orochimaru watched the boy who was training with his team, which consisted of him, Haku, and Tayuya. The boy no longer had that orange outfit he wore as he had disposed of it. He now wore a pair of gray pants and a purple shirt with a small vest on as well. On the front of the vest near the shoulder were small kanji that translated into, Child of the Snake. He wore ninja sandals and now had a sound Hittite across his forehead. Ever since he had brought his son to ZODIVK, he could tell that the boy was more happy and determined than he had ever been. When he had seen him during the few times growing up, he felt nothing but hidden misery coming from the boy for the way he was treated. Gon were wondering if a misstep would lead to a mob attacking him for no reason than just because he was there. He could now walk out in the streets and not worry if he was going to be harmed. Most of ZODIVK, which were outsiders themselves in their original villages, accepted the boy as one of their own. Orochimaru watched the boy finish with his teammates and called them to him. "That's enough training for today. Now then, I have decided it's time for your first mission as a team." At that, the three ninjas' eyes perked up. Tayuya had the most experience of them, seeing that she was a member of the Sound Four. Haku had done missions with Zabuza, mostly undercover ones, and Naruto, who didn't have much experience aside from his previous mission. They're minor villages in Sound Country. Most of them I have put some of my top men there to govern and report to me. One of particular interest is the town of Hakur, located about 10 miles from here. The ninja I have placed in charge, Khan, has asked for me to come meet him this night for a report. You three are to be my escort along the way and if need be serve as my guards. Tayuya let loose a shrug. That doesn't sound like a tough task, it should be rather easy. Orochimaru smirked at her. Don't get overconfident, Tayuya. I have received reports that Khan has been abusing his power and he hasn't been following the orders I have given him. It appears that he is getting ambitious. I don't think he just wants me over there to report. You think he is planning on trying to assassinate you? Asked Haku. Correct, so I want one of you three to kill him if he does shows treason. The three slowly nodded, understanding. Good, now then you are dismissed. Report to me in 6 hours. You are free to do whatever until then. The group began to leave when Naruto heard Orochimaru call him back. He headed back towards his father. Are you sure you're up for this, Naruto? Naruto nodded his head. I guess so, I want to prove my worth. I'm ready for this mission, Otusan, even though I've never really killed a person of my own will. Well, sometimes that's something required for a ninja to do. It's unnerving the first couple of times, but that is the path that we have chosen. Go rest up and report to me along with the rest in a couple of hours. Hi, Naruto left with a bow to his sensei and father and left. Be strong, Naruto, I know you can do this. Orochimaru said to him as he left. At Konoha, Kakashi looked over at his two remaining students, Sasuke and Sakura. The two were practicing well. Sasuke was. Sakura, even though she tried, seemed out of it. She hadn't even asked Sasuke out even once yet today. Kakashi had noticed this change of behavior in her the past couple of weeks and was starting to become concerned for her. He mentioned for Sakura to follow him and the pink-haired girl slowly followed him. The two went a distance and Kakashi turned to face her. Sakura, what's wrong? You're putting less effort than you usually do. It's nothing, sensei, I'm fine really. Said the girl. Kakashi sighed. You've been thinking about what happened, haven't you? Sakura knew what he was talking about, the incident in Wave Country and what happened to Naruto. I know I shouldn't dwell on the past, sensei, but what happened back there? Why did he become so different? It was like he had become a whole new person. Was that because of the Kyuubi? Kakashi nodded. At times, if a vessel gets angry enough or is in a state of strong emotions, the demon can take temporary control of him. That's what happened to Naruto. But why did Naruto change so much? He looked so different. And who was that man who took him? I heard him say something but couldn't hear all of it. Kakashi remained silent. He did not want to tell her what Orochimaru, the snake responsible for all of this, and the one being who he never would have thought to be Naruto's father, had told him. I really don't know, Sakura, I have no clue what to tell you. But what's wrong with you? You're acting depressed all the time, you're barely trying to flirt with Sasuke like you usually did. During the mission, Naruto slapped me, he yelled at me for never doing anything and instead being a burden, and that's what I really am most of the time. During our stay in Wave he decided to help me out a bit, help me get stronger. And I feel like I'm part to blame for what happened back there. Kakashi shook his head. It's not your fault, Sakura. If anyone's to blame, it should be me for refusing to work on you all like I should've. Come on, let's head back. I'm sure Naruto's fine wherever he is. Sakura nodded and left with her sensei. Anko at her home was going through old junk. She was done for the day at the academy and was looking through old things. She then come across a picture. It was her and Naruto. The boy couldn't have been any more than a year old at that time. She was holding him in her arms and she couldn't help but smirk seeing how happy he looked. He was always happy to see her when she dropped by at the orphanage. But later as he grew up, his smile seemed to have lost its happiness at times, as if he was hiding his true feelings at times behind a dopey grin. Only she, along with a few people, knew the pain he felt growing up. Never knowing why he was hated, and wondering where his parents were. She saw another picture and she frowned when she saw it. It was her with her teammates as a genin, and the man behind them was none other than the man she once followed any order given and the father of Naruto. Orochimaru. Faintly she reached towards her neck where the seal that he had put on her was at. Her teammates had died due to his twisted schemes and she hated him for that. She had no idea what had happened to him. Taking the picture she held up the one with Naruto and the one with Orochimaru. She remembered what he looked like without the genjutsu that Sarutobi had put on him. She could see the startling resemblance between father and son. It unnerved her and that wasn't something she felt often. She still didn't trust Kabuto as a gut feeling told her that he had been involved with what had happened. The medic claimed to know nothing of the incident and that he was a friend of Naruto. But she still didn't like him. Thoughts went through her head. Sarutobi had told her the true incident. The rest of Konoha thought Naruto had disappeared and ran off, and some seemed to be rejoicing the fact that he was gone. Where was Orochimaru? Where was Naruto? That was the first time Orochimaru had been seen in nearly 12 years and no one had any clue where he could be. Wherever he was, Anko couldn't help but feel concerned for Naruto, who was with the snake. Later that day at the woods of ZODIVK. 4 figures darted through the woods that lead to the town of Hakure. The man in front wearing his traditional robes led the 3 that were behind him. The sun was starting to get low and it would soon be night, the time of the ninja. As the 3 continued their way, they soon came across a small town. It was their destination. It was located near a river so they could see fishermen finishing up their catch. "We've arrived at our destination, follow me and don't do anything that draws attention," he said to them as they made their way to the town. The 4 made their way across the town looking at the sights. The streetlights were on and the citizens were hurrying to get to their homes. Only a fool would stay out at night. The group soon made their way to a location, which was a bathhouse. Guards were posted outside of it and steam could be seen coming out of it as well as laughter. They were in the entertainment district of Hakure, and Naruto and Haku turned their faces away from some of the scantily clad women who were no doubt in questioning. "Bimbos," muttered to Yuya as they walked. "Now then, while we're here I want you 3 to search around for anything that will provide truth that Khan is plotting against me. Find evidence and report to me. I will then dispose of him and have him as a remainder for those who dare betray me as to what will happen to them," instructed Orochimaru to them. The trio nodded as they neared the entrance. "No kids," grunted one of the guards to the 4 as they approached, pointing at the 3. Orochimaru frowned at that and he glared at the man. "I'm here on official business with Khan, your boss. These 3 are my bodyguards, let them pass." "Not my problem, you chose underage brats, no kids," said the guard. Orochimaru thought the man would be better used dead than alive, but slowly he nodded and turned to the 3. "You heard the man, you 3 will have to wait out here. Find something to entertain yourselves while I'm busy." He then lowered his voice to a whisper. "There is a way in from the back. That you can get in from. There should be no guards in the back of it, find evidence of Khan's deception." He left them outside as he entered the building. "Well, I guess we might as well go," said Naruto to them, who followed his lead and left the bathhouse. The 3 began left, and then while the guard wasn't looking they made their way to the back. At the back they found a waterway connected to the river, which must have been how the bathhouse was supplied. It looks pretty deep. I don't think we'll be able to swim our way into it, and if we find out that it's blocked by a gate we'll be at a dead end," mused Haku. "Well, how do we get in, Dipface?" asked Yuya to him impatiently. "How about that?" said Naruto, pointing up to a vent that looked big enough for them to fit through. "Good idea, it looks locked though, I'll handle that." With that Haku threw a shuriken, which hit the lock, cutting it loose. He then reached up and gently removed the cover of it. "Okay, I'll go first, Yuya you go second, and Naruto you bring up the rear." Naruto nodded while Yuya let out whatever, and each after the other went a distance got in. The vent was wide enough for them to crawl through, but it got dark and they had trouble seeing. "Man, it's so dark you can't see a thing," muttered Naruto, unable to see in front of him. He then reached out his hand trying to feel his way. His hand then touched something. Hey, what's this round thing? It sure feels warm. Hey, who's got their hand on my Naruto? Shouted Tayuya. Uh-oh. Naruto then saw a head of red hair and an angry Tayuya as he had accidentally touched her butt. An occupant of one of the water rooms heard loud noises and shrugged. Sometimes he wished the patrons of this place weren't so loud. With Orochimaru. Orochimaru was lead to the main room of the bathhouse that was used by most of the customers. He could tell that most of them contained a weapon of sort. Steam filled the room and there were many exotic plants. He noticed out of the back of his eye how some were watching him to see what he was doing. At the rear of the room sitting on a makeshift throne was a bald man in his 40s who wore a black robe with a white sash along with a sword sheathed at his side. Long fingernails, which he at times scraped against his head. A thin black mustache, which he had trimmed to go down. Gray eyes scanned the bathhouse and he smirked when he saw the pale man walking towards him. Greetings Orochimaru-sama, welcome to my humble bathhouse. Said Khan with a bow. It's been a while since I've last seen you Khan. Responded Orochimaru. I apologize for that, please can I offer you anything, food, drink, a bath with any of my finest workers. Orochimaru shook his head denying his offers. Don't bother yourself, you've called me here, what is it that you want? Khan smiled. Ah yes, let's get down to business. With Naruto and the others. Naruto held his head in pain as they finally made their way out of the vent. Tayuya must have hit him about 50 times. She would have hit him 50 more times if Haku hadn't had stopped her. I'm still not done with you pervert. Said Tayuya darkly to him as they looked around. There was no one in sight but they could hear footsteps, they had to be quiet. Sneaking quietly as they were in the area where private baths were at. Steam was in the air and they could hear splashing of water along with other noises. Here's something that might be interesting. Said Haku as he discovered a hidden door. He opened it and the three found themselves in a well-furnished room. This must be that Khan moron's room. Said Tayuya as they entered it. There should be something we could use to find out if he is plotting something, let's look. Instructed Haku to them. Naruto was looking around the desk and something caught his eye. A paper was sticking out of a stack of others. His curiosity getting the better of him, he then took it. What he saw surprised him. It was a picture of his father, but he was on a wanted poster with a reward on it. Hey, Tayuya, Haku, I found something, he called to them as they came over. A wanted poster. It says here he's wanted for attempting for planning a coup against the ruler of Amekagure, the land of rain, and that he is wanted dead. The reward is 10 million. And if he should by any chance be wearing a mysterious ring and it is returned, the price would be doubled. Said Haku reading it. What? Some assholes want Orochimaru-sama dead. How come? I never heard anything about this, did you? Asked Tayuya confused. Naruto shrugged, as it didn't make much sense to him. Figured you didn't. Well, it looks like we got the evidence needed to prove that guy's deception. Let's go. Halt. The three turned around and saw two guards enter the room. Entering Master Khan's room is punishable by death. Prepare to die maggots. Naruto quickly made hand seals and then pointed at them. A great burst of wind struck them and sent them flying out of the room into a wall, knocking them out. The three exited and they saw a lone young girl wearing a pink kimono outside. Seeing them, she screamed and attempted to run away. Haku reacted quickly and threw a pair of senbon, which struck her in the neck. The girl halted and then dropped to the floor out cold. Walking up to her, Haku noticed that they about the same size. I think I have an idea, he said to them as he undid the bow on the girl's kimono. Orochimaru was growing impatient. Khan was darting around, switching from subject to subject, never staying on one thing. So you see, master, everything is fine, I just wanted to let you know since I hadn't told you lately in person. So it would seem, Orochimaru muttered, his arms crossed in annoyance. Suddenly a door opened and a group of women dressed in kimonos entered the room and began dancing. Please enjoy my girls' dance, they have worked very hard on it, I'm sure it will please you. Said Khan to him as they circled around him and went to the other patrons as well. Orochimaru scowled, irritated at the dancing girls who were all grinning flirtingly at him. His temper was reaching a boiling point when he saw one, in a pink kimono using two fans to cover her face, danced her way up to him and lowered her fan. He noticed something hidden in it and the dancer was mentioning for him to take it. Smirking as he recognized the person, he took it and looked at it. He then raised his hand up mentioning for them to stop as a smile grew across his face. Is everything alright, sir? Asked Khan with a bit of nervousness. 10 million. That's how much you would sell me out for, said Orochimaru, his golden eyes gleaming. I think I would be worth 5 times as much as that. What are you talking about? Said Khan to him. Orochimaru smirked and then revealed the wanted poster with him on it. So you have decided to betray me, have you? For that you will pay with your life. Khan gritted his teeth and then shouted out, his eyes full of fury. Weapons. The patrons of the bathhouse stood up from their baths wielding blades. Some of the others that weren't loyal to him immediately fled, all but the girl was gone. Your head would fetch a high price anywhere, you cannot hope to leave here alive. Suddenly one of the walls exploded, sending rubble everywhere, covering the area with dust. Then they heard the faint sound of a flute being played. 3 giant demons then appeared armed with weapons and attacked, crushing those that dared get in their way. The girl who handed Orochimaru the poster suddenly dealt out a kick to one of them and threw a pair of senbon at another. She then removed the kimono, revealing himself. The girl, of course, was actually Haku in disguise. He then activated his Kage Genkai and froze the water in the tubs, trapping men inside. He then did hand symbols and a mist formed around the area, cutting off the sight of the men as he prepared to pick them off one by one. 3 guards then saw a black-haired boy enter the room and began making hand seals. Oto Kage Bushin no Jutsu, shouted Naruto as he made clones of himself, and they attacked the guards. One of the guards sliced one in half, but to his surprise it exploded with a loud sound, stunning and disorienting him. Naruto had improved on the Kage Bushin, making them, when they defeated, cause a loud sound equivalent to a mini-sonic boom. He then saw Khan wielding his sword attempt to attack him. He pulled out a kunai and narrowly managed to defect it. The man then pressed against him, slashing and thrusting at him in fury, intent on killing him, as Naruto narrowly dodged his attacks, backing away as quickly as he could. Naruto, seeing an opening, did a flip in the air and delivered a kick to the man's jaw as he did so, stunning the man. The man staggered back and growled in fury as he prepared to hurl his sword at him. Naruto found himself back against a wall and no way out. Suddenly the man jerked weirdly and Naruto saw a sword stick out of his chest, blood spewing from it. Khan reached up and attempted to remove it, but it got plunged in further. Khan let out a gurgled gasp, his mouth full of blood, as he fell off the blade and into one of the tubs, it becoming red with his blood. Naruto then saw Orochimaru, as it was he who had stabbed Khan through the heart, killing him. He sent away his sword and looked at his son. The mission is complete, Naruto, you did a good job, though you hesitated at times, he said to him. Naruto nodded, understanding. The mist that Haku had created dispelled and they could see both him and Tayuya, who sent her doki away. Both seemed to be fine and appeared to be not injured. Fallen guards, some of them put in a sleep-like state with senbon sticking out of them by Haku, were sprawled across the floor. Our mission was a success, we shall now head home. You each did a fine job, instructed Orochimaru to them. The 4 left the bathhouse and prepared to head back to Otogakure. Along the way Naruto was at the back with Tayuya. You alright, Tayuya? The redhead looked at him and smirked. Hey, no problem, I can handle jackasses like those back there with no problem. I can handle myself in a fight. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I don't want to get on your bad side. He then felt something brush up against his bottom and his eyes widened as a blush covered his face, and he looked at Tayuya, who smiled deviously. Now we're even, though if you touch my ass again I'll rip off your hand, she said with a wicked smirk that sent chills down his spine. Haku was up ahead talking with Orochimaru. Orochimaru, about that wanted poster. Think nothing of it, Haku, it is nothing of importance. For now stay focused on the present instead of the past, ordered Orochimaru to him. Haku slowly nodded, knowing that pestering him about it would not be a smart idea. Orochimaru, however, was thinking about it. He knew who had placed the bounty on his head. That was what Khan was after, and it appeared a few old acquaintances were still looking for him. And if they discovered that Naruto was with him, they would waste little time attempting to get him. He frowned as he thought about it. Most of them he could beat, he knew that, but there was one who he knew would be extremely difficult to defeat. He remembered what the wretched boy did to him, forcing him to experience what happened on Naruto's birth. It would seem that if he were to battle Itachi again and hope to defeat him, he would have to obtain the one thing that would guarantee victory. He would have to obtain Sharingan eyes of his own.